So it's been over 120 years since the establishment of Arsenal, and yet still they have not been able to win one Champions League. Yet, Paris Saint-Germain, they have won it twice, yes, in a row. They are champions, retained their title. But what exactly happened on the day? A lot happened that I feel people should not just skew it to the penalty and blame it all on Gabriel. No, Gabriel Magalhaes might have missed the penalty, but there were some tactical nuances and a bit of tactical, naivety, I might say, on the part of Arteta. Let's hit it quickly. Now, in the first half, everything was prime, everything was right. Arsenal started quickly, hit, bang, 6 minutes. It was a goal. How the goal started, ball purported to have hit the man Trossard on the arm, deflected, went into a sequence, and then led up in a goal. Nobody wants to talk about that handball situation. Let's pack that aside. But then again, after that, there were a lot of things that were going on the pitch. After that goal, Arsenal decided to set a lot of way too much deep in their own half. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? But on the side of Paris Saint-Germain, they noticed that Arsenal were beginning to sit too deep and started to try as much as possible overload the pitch in certain areas. Now, they started out now playing in a three-back situation, not allowing the man Mens push forward and allowing Pacho to be in that stalwart defense position, pushing Marquinhos on that side. Now, they wanted to extend the pitch with Achraf Hakimi pushing high up the pitch, even beyond the man Neves, and allowing Doué and the man Ousmane Dembele to constantly switch between themselves. So you see Doué now coming here, being tracked by the man Declan Rice all over the pitch. Now, Miles was also on the man Neves in that situation. Vitinha literally was on his own to try and help build up through the Arsenal ranks and get in front. Arsenal were really trying on that score to try and keep things very, very solid and keep things very, very compact. Again, you see here and you see the exchange between Doué and Dembele. In this part of things, Doué behind, and then here you've got Dembele behind. Fabian Ruiz was also literally pushing up into the space, and his marker was the man Saka. And here, Saka is also tracking him back there. Achraf Hakimi, like I said, constantly kept hovering on in an advanced space. Neves, this time round, moved into that space as well. So in defense, they still kept that shape, that arrow shape with Vitinha inside the arrow. So they kept in the inverted arrow, I should say. So they kept the shape, and Arsenal did not really push on them, kept on backing up and making the pitch narrower for themselves. Now, we again look at what was happening here. All this happened in the first half. Now, this is a situation where Arsenal were really doing very, 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 very well. They never allowed Mosquera to be one-on-one with Kivika Kvaratskhelia. How did they not allow that to happen? Because they had the man Saka constantly tracking back to make it a two-on-one situation. So if Kvaratskhelia was able to beat Mosquera, he had Saka to deal with. Now, he could also not just keep on crossing the ball because they did not have height in their attack at this point in time. Ousmane Dembele, not the tallest of people, certainly coming up against Hincapié, Gabriel, and then Saliba. He was no match aerially. Doué, similar. So you can even check this out. Doué, Dembele, Neves, not the tallest of people. That is why constantly, anytime the team, Paris Saint-Germain, were getting corners and connecting with the ball, it was largely the man, Fabian Ruiz, who was heading those balls. Because on average, the Paris Saint-Germain team is quite, they are deficient in height. You get where I'm coming from. Now, let's move it along. For Arsenal, they kept things very tight. And in the second half, they actually managed to keep things tight. But there were some few tweaks that started giving Arsenal off. Now, for instance, in the first half, on the stroke of halftime, they got a corner kick. But prior to that corner kick, they got a throw-in where they switched the person to effect the throw-in 3 times. It got the referee, agitated a bit, and they got a corner kick, and he decided that enough is enough, let's go for the break. Now, they come back from the break, and immediately, time wasting, Mosquera gets yellow carded. So now that limits what he's able to do there. But Arsenal, to keep it constantly tight, created a quartet on either side of the pitch. The upper side, that is on their right-hand side, they had Saka, they had Rice, they had Mosquera, they had Saliba in that quartet. And on the left side, they had Mouse, Luis Kelly, Trossard, and certainly Hincapié and Gabriel on that side, leaving Odegaard and Kai Havertz to hover around the upfield, trying to press things there. And then everything started to crack for them because they started leaving, still at this point in time, they were still doubling up and making sure things were very difficult for Paris Saint-Germain to even go through, you know, the inside spaces, making it difficult for them to go through the inside channel, they have spaces and all. So they kept it very tight, making sure they squeezed Paris Saint-Germain out of a picture. But then again, there was a tactical tweak from the man, Luis Enrique. He then instructed the likes of Marquinhos and Vitinha and his defenders to start pumping the ball wide, go high and wide. So in this sequence, you get Marquinhos kicking that ball all over to Doué, who had at this point in time stretched the pace. So Doué gets this ball, and now he's beginning to create sequences of one-on-one that was not there in the earlier part of the half. He also instructed Vitinha to start filling in for Nuno Mendes, as he was also now creating more problems for Saka and Mosquera at that time, who had been yellow carded. So Saka needed to now track back, and Kvaratskhelia was keeping the pressure on the man, Mosquera, so making it very difficult, allowing Dembele to constantly be sliding in and out. This then led to a sequence where we know what happened. There was a penalty, there was a goal, 1-1, game on. Then again, Arsenal at this time were stretched, were confused, but they were still trying to keep composure. So you were getting a lot of strings in there. Now, Barcola came on, and that was a substitute a lot of people did not get, because Barcola has a lot of pace, and he was literally running at this Arsenal defense in tatters. He tore them left, right, and center, but he could not make his runs count. Now, another particular thing that happened was Achraf Hakimi was beginning to drag the man Hincapié out of position. It was becoming difficult, and after Arsenal effected some changes, everything twisted. Everything twisted in that compactability was lost. Arsenal were then looking for fluidity to try and get, you know, that needed advantage. But Arsenal were not getting those advantages. And that is mainly the reason why the man, Luis Enrique, lifted another trophy, another UCL trophy for the team, Paris Saint-Germain. So it becomes very difficult for us to see how Arsenal would get here again. Do they have the men? Arsenal do have the men. But will it happen next season? I don't want to be the prophet of doom, but it might be more difficult this season or next season than it was this season. Look at the Arsenal side of the draw, how they got into the Champions League final. It was much more easier on that side of things for them than it was for the team Paris Saint-Germain. So that's the kind of tweak we have there that we have to deal with Arsenal. So Arsenal made and played compact, but eventually